Okay, so I'm gonna do the last, third, and final part of the Module 2, Lesson 3 review. Alright, so, okay, first problem. There we go. Okay. Alright, so we've got an absolute value that is less than a number, except before we even start on this, look at what number it's less than. So we know that the absolute value can only output 0 or positive numbers, and so how could that ever be less than a negative number or equal to a negative number? Impossible, right? Because that's negative, and we're looking at values that are less than, there are no answers that would work, and so NS is what we input. No solutions per the instructions. Okay. Alright, so now this time, in order to isolate the absolute values, we have to get rid of the negative 2 out front. So we'll divide each side by negative 2. But remember, if we divide or multiply by a negative, we've got to flip the direction of the inequality signs. So we end up getting then absolute value of 3x minus 27 is greater than or equal to, because we had to flip the direction of the inequality, and negative over negative is positive, and we get, what, 42? So now we can make our trade. Whatever's inside is either going to be greater than or equal to positive 42, or what's inside is going to be less than or equal to negative 42. So in either case, we're just going to add 27 to both sides, which gives us 3x is greater than or equal to 69. And then if I divide both sides by 3, we get x is greater than or equal to 33. No, 23. Whoops. On the other side, we add, for the other inequality over here, if we add 27 to both parts, we get 3x is less than or equal to negative 42 plus 27 is negative 15. Divided by positive 3 and get x is less than or equal to negative 5, I'd have to put the or symbol in between, and so that's what I'm going to enter. Okay. 2 more. Okay, this time we got a lot of stuff to do. In fact, let's just do this. I'm going to grab this. And let's just do the work here. Okay, so now to get the absolute value by itself, first I've got to subtract 4 from both sides. So I get negative 2 times the absolute value of 4x minus 36 is greater than or equal to negative 144. So I'm going to divide each side through by negative 2. But remember, once again, if I divide by a negative, I've got to flip the direction of the inequality sign. And so I get absolute value of 4x minus 36 is less than or equal to positive 72. So I've got an absolute value less than a number, and so remember, that's the one where I'm going to get the argument of the absolute value is pinched between negative 72 on the lower limit and positive 72 at the upper limit. And now I've just got to solve for x. So to get x by itself, I'm just going to first add 3 to all parts. Which gives me 4x in the middle, negative 69 on the left, and positive 75 on the right. And then I'm going to divide everything through by 4. And so we get, looks like we get x is greater than or equal to negative 69 fourths and less than or equal to positive 75 fourths, and I can't reduce those. So it looks like that's my answer. Oh, you know what I did? Hang on, it looks like I made a mistake way back here. I added 3 instead of 36. Okay, so I gotta go back and fix this. See what I did? Let's try this again. I should have added, whoops, I should have added 36 to each part. So that gives me 4x in the middle. It gives me negative 36 on the left, and it gives me positive 108 on the right. So now, when I divide everything by 4, I get negative 9x and 27. So that's my answer. X is greater than or equal to negative 9 and less than or equal to 27. There we go. Okay, and last one. Okay, so let's take a look at this guy. We've got a couple things to do. We've got to subtract 6 from both sides first. So we're going to get, what is that, 128 and 2 times the absolute value of 4x plus 28. I got to get the absolute value by itself, so we'll divide by 2 both sides. I'm dividing by a positive, so I don't need to switch the inequality. And then I get absolute value of 4x plus 28 is greater than or equal to 64. So we can make our trade, and we end up with whatever's inside, because I've got an absolute value being greater than a number. Whatever's inside is either going to be greater than or equal to positive 64, or whatever's inside is less than or equal to negative 64. Got to solve both. Subtract 28 from both sides. So 4x is greater than or equal to 36. Divide by 4, and x is greater than or equal to 9. the other inequality, if I repeat those steps, 4x is less than or equal to 92, negative 92. Divide by 4, and x is less than or equal to negative over positive is negative, and 92 over 4 is 23. Yeah, okay. So x is greater than or equal to 9, or x is less than or equal to negative 23. Okay, and we got it. And that's it.